Have to be reminded of that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and it is Mental Health Day and Wellness Day. And we welcome back Aprylete Russell. We've missed you. How are you?
I'm good. I've missed you. I love a Thursday. Today, actually, Sybil. Normally, it's like, I'm okay. Today, I'm doing well.
All
It,
right.
yeah, I'm doing just well today. What about you?
I am doing okay. Is it the holiday? Did you have some time off? Did you have fun? Did you make merry?
Time off. It's so wild because Monday I didn't realize that I was off, so I logged in. I'm like, "Ooh, it's a little quiet." I'm like, "Where everybody at?" And then I texted my senior. I'm just like, "Hey, girl, what you doing?" Just to see what she was doing. She was like, "Oh, I'm driving." I said, "Oh, we must be off today." So yes, I got an extra day, and yeah, I'm feeling good for sure.
Okay. What'd you do for the holiday?
Nothing much. I relaxed. I slept. I went to the pool. That was a bit much. I forgot that people would be out at the pool doing their things, and I don't
A
like
lot
partying.
of all of
Yeah.
the yeah.
Mm-mm. And the good thing about it, I can actually see fireworks from my balcony.
Hmm.
So me and Goody Daddy, we went onto the balcony, got my hammock, and we watched the fireworks out there.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Yep.
very nice. That's great. Well, it sounds like you had a good time. I hope everybody else had a good holiday, and now we're back into it. Friday Eve, if you will, and on a holiday shortened week. So we're glad we missed you last week, and glad that you're back with us today.
Yes.
And talking about mental health and wellness, and you have a guest that we're going to be talking about privacy, and especially as it applies to social media apps and with mental health. So we look forward to that. And so, without further ado, how? Oh, I should ask about my friend Gucci. How is?
Gucci is good. Gucci actually went to the groomers today. So he's fresh and
Um,
clean. And it's so wild because when Gucci his hair gets long, he don't act like he fresh. But as soon as he just how we feel when we get our hair done, as soon as he get back from the groomers, baby, that tail wagging. He's doing the most. But no, he's good. He's laying on the back of the couch looking outside the window on the other side.
oh, that's so. One of the post on Instagram is of a woman who really washes her dog. Gives
Mhm.
him a really great. Have you
He's in a
seen
pit
that one?
bull.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
the dog just really, I mean, he hops into the tub
And he's
and
so
she's
relaxed.
scrubbing and she's brushing his teeth and doing all the hind parts. And I was like, and this dog, and then she takes the towel out of the washing machine, out
Yep.
of the dryer, and
A warm
warm
towel.
towel out of the dryer, and then and he's and then she puts him on his dog bed. Now the one thing I didn't like with this last one I saw is they put the dog in a tutu. I was like,
Ooh. That dog is too big to be in a tutu though. That
I don't
that
care
was too
what the
big.
sex was. It was too much for this pit bull. The pit bull's like, really?
Yeah, yeah,
This
he's too
this,
big for the tutu.
this what we doing today?
That
After
is so
all,
funny.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you did for me, but no, no,
Yeah, that
let's
dog gets pampered more than humans,
that
literally.
and that's what people say. Well, could you come and do that for me? Guys were hitting her up on Instagram in the comment section. It's like, could you do this for me? I adore that. I wish that I had that when I was when I was younger. We used to throw the dog in the tub in the basement,
Mhm.
and because it was a miniature schnauzer, and we would do that. But I didn't have the presence of mind or the wherewithal
Mhm.
to do all of that,
Yeah.
and he did not like it anyway. So, but this dog, woo,
Yeah, these dogs are different nowadays. They love a good bath now, okay?
yeah, yeah. I was
Gucci
like,
loves a good bath, a good paw rub. He loves all of
and
those
she
things.
did all of that. She was like in
Yep.
between his,
Yes.
and his
Mhm.
paws, and I was like, oh my God, this dog is living the life. I was like,
Living the life
and
for
then the
sure.
other sister that's cooking up the hamburger or
Yes.
actually steak
Mhm.
and all the vegetables and
Yes.
everything. I was like, I don't
Yep.
even make that for myself. Okay, all right. Well, so much for that. But good on Gucci. I'm glad that he's all fresh and ready to go.
Yep.
And let us talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday effort to super serve the African American community and doing what we learned with Tom Joyner and giving folks the news that applies to them or it involves our community. And Aprylette is one of our talented young contributors, joins us on this show as well as in the newsletter with us. stories about mental health and wellness, and especially because this is a topic that we don't talk about enough in our community, but definitely one that affects our community. And Aprylete is bringing and opening the door and shedding a light, shining a light, I should say, on what's going on and how we can best be our best selves,
Yes.
and especially with the aid of the institutions of social media apps, all that that Aprylette brings us into. So we appreciate that. And so let's talk about your story today and the, the privacy concerns surrounding the use of mental health apps or applications.
Yes. And so I thought this story was super important because, well, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, you guys. So as African Americans, it's like, let's get out there and make sure we take care of ourselves and our mind and just be our best selves. So according to Mozilla, the market for mental health apps have grown nearly $1 billion since 2022.
Mm,
And their recent investigation discovered that several of the most popular mental health services have failed to protect the privacy and security of their users. The team reevaluated 27 mental health, meditation, and prayer apps, including well known apps like Calm and Headspace. And I
mm,
actually have Headspace on my phone.
mhm.
And so out of the 32 apps that they assessed, 22 were labeled privacy not included warning by the company. The company,
Wow.
that's a lot, right? Out of
Yeah.
32, 22 privacy not included. And that's not okay when it comes to your sensitive information.
Yeah.
So the company said that this is a slight improvement from last year's numbers, but 17 of those 27 that were reassessed still showed poor privacy and security practices. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but just last March, BetterHelp, which is an online counseling service, it's super popular since the pandemic. A lot of people are doing counseling online because that traditional walking into a therapist's office or counseling is just not there anymore, and apps are so prevalent. So a lot of people are doing online therapy, and BetterHelp is literally leading in that. Well, they were sued last year in March for $7.6 million. They settled for that because of sharing sensitive data to advertisers like Facebook, Snapchat. And I'm sure you guys know when you Google something, when you even
Mhm.
think of something, you see the ads on your phone,
Yeah.
you know? So just imagine, say if you are diagnosed or maybe even undiagnosed and you may think that you have a diagnosis, maybe a little bipolar or something of that nature, and you start talking to your counselor or you're Googling things, and then now you're getting advertisement for prescription medicine and things like that. That's because someone has sold your data.
Mhm.
So that company was sued. And then other mental health apps that were mentioned for poor privacy were Headspace, like I mentioned, Talkspace, and Shine. And it was little hard doing this story because Shine is actually a mental health app that is geared towards Black people. That is
Oh.
an app created by a Black woman, geared towards Black people, for our mental health, and it was on the list of poor privacy settings.
Mm.
And I can't wait to talk to the guests because this is like, what can we do? What are the conversations that we can have so this doesn't happen on
Right.
on all levels? But really, right now, it's Minority Mental Health Month on our platforms.
Yeah.
What can we
Yeah.
do? What conversations can we have to protect ourselves? And the positive note in all of this is that
Mm.
lawmakers have been investigating those relationships between therapy apps and online advertisers. But their main concern is that the apps may be profiting off of the sensitive data unjustly. So the positive is that lawmakers have been having these conversations, but where is it going? I'm not
Mhm.
for sure.
Wow. So that's going to be interesting. I've seen a lot of daytime TV because I have the television on while I'm working, and one of the ads I've seen recently is about a health app and talking about a woman's
Is it
particular
illegal?
time of the month, and young, and just for lack of a better name, young Aprylette is on her period this month and or this week, and it's like, well, how did you know that? And it's like, well, because you put it into the app,
And
and
the app tracking.
yep, yep, and all that information goes out there. So you do have to be very careful. So I look forward to the conversation that we're going to have in the next segment with your guest, and talking about safety online. Absolutely.
Yep.
Some of the other things that we have in the What You Need to Know newsletter are politics, and that is about day to day, some of the more up to date things that you may have seen the headlines, and so we give you a little bit of information on that. Sometimes it's more detailed, talking about people. This week, young Cameron had a story about Hill Harper, who was um, considering running for the Senate from the
Mhm.
state of Michigan, not his state, but definitely going to uh, generate a lot of attention and I think fire in in,
Absolutely.
in that Senate race for the Democratic nomination because they got some old Michiganders who are already in the race, and now
Mhm.
he's going to be bringing some fresh blood and some energy there. Another interesting story, we have an affiliation with Black Health Matters, and they talk about the best cities for women based upon a healthier lifestyle and
Mm.
opportunities. They found 71% of Americans plan to change their eating habits, 65% want to be more physically active, and 54% want to drop the pounds. And this is, of course, every new year we talk about this, but this is the in relation to the resolutions we've been making at the beginning of the year, at the
Mhm.
half point of the year, which we are now into the second half of 2023. And as well as sometimes we make the changes around the time of our birthdays. And so
Mhm.
very little diversity in a lot of these cities. But this is an organization called City Lab. They worked with urban sociologists to analyze the best metro areas for Black women. No city in this country has earned an A plus.
Mm.
Surprise. Still, they do index such factors not accounted for in the mainstream rankings, including inequities for Black women in terms of income status, health conditions, and educational accomplishments. So take a look at that in some of the cities that are there in the rankings. And
Name one of the cities. Am I in one?
I wish I could say that we were.
Mm.
I think that Houston might be one of the cities, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely, they said no city. Greensboro, North Carolina, is number one,
Mm.
and number 10 is Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
lived I lived in Charlotte, but it was a different time, and but I do know that it is a city of great advancement. So number 10 is Charlotte, number 9 is Atlanta, something you
Okay.
know about. Washington D.C. is number 8. Tampa, Florida is number 7. Once again, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina is number 6. Miami, Florida. I'm surprised that that is number
I'm
5.
surprised too.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Orlando, Florida is number 4, and Minneapolis is number 3, and Boston, and I'm really surprised that Boston
Really?
is number 2. So interesting.
Hmm.
So no, we're not in the game there in
All
the
right.
Dallas Fort Worth area. Another thing that I did want to mention is that a very important story as it is regards to the historically Black colleges and universities. We do have an HBCU corner. If you take a look at that, this heralds the arrival of new leadership at Barber Scotia College in North Carolina. It's Concord, North Carolina, which is just outside of Charlotte. And our friend Chris Ray, attorney Chris Ray, has been named the president of Barber
Mhm.
Scotia. That takes effect July 17th. And they went in a search committee. He was voted unanimously. And it's going to be a hard road for him
Mm.
to work with, as a lot of presidents who come into HBCUs find. They were selected by the board to serve at these historically Black colleges, but to help in the resurgence, to bring them
Mhm.
back to life because they have tax problems, other financial problems, and maintaining and increasing and
Yeah.
maintaining the student body there, as well
Wow.
as good educators to work on your staff and to pay them commensurate to their skills. So there's a lot, and there's a number of balls that he's
Yeah, for
juggling in
sure.
the air.
Right when he gets through the door, it's like he's set up
Right,
already.
right. And this really is one of the oldest schools. Barber Scotia was founded back in 1867 by the
Mm.
Presbyterian Church. The purpose was to prepare newly emancipated African American women to go into the fields of education and social work. Now that things are a little more equal for the fellows, men and women do attend, and
Mhm.
Barber Scotia has gone through a number of transitions in terms of names and whatever has changed in terms of that school. But the mission of the college has always been total student development as it has etched in the Faith Hall cornerstone for head, hand, and heart. So, congratulations to our friend,
Yes.
attorney Chris Ray. I know you're going to do a great job. And Barbara Scotia, you got a great man leading you into your next. So, congratulations there. HBCU Corner, little known Black History fact. Our Health Corner by Cherie White, or Wellness Check there. Cherie White gives us that as well as the others. Aprylete is mental health and wellness, and Coy Malone is
Mm-hmm.
social justice, and Cam also gives us politics, and Aprylete, rounds out the group on Thursdays with mental health and wellness. So thank you so much for that, and we would love to have you subscribe. It is absolutely free. Please go to SybilWilkes.com and give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning.
Yep. It comes in the morning too.
It does come. It does
It
come. Yeah.
comes in the morning.
And if there's a problem, let us know. And I know you will. But we don't have that. So, April, let us move on to your guest in our What's Really Going On section. You have invited a data privacy expert by the name of Arnez Edwards. Would you please
Yes.
do the honors?
Hello, Arnez. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Aprylete and Miss Sybil.
Yay.
How are you guys?
Fine. How are you? You tell us how we're doing as far as our security is concerned.
Right.
Not very well, guys. I wish we were doing a little better. It's a lot going on. I would like to kind of back up a little bit before we dive directly into the mental health applications.
Okay.
That's okay.
Sure.
So the data aggregation industry is a $117 billion a year industry by itself.
A year.
A year. The data brokerage industry sits on top of it and is $250 billion a year.
Mm.
And it helps
God.
fund a almost $9 trillion illegal marketplace.
Illegal.
Illegal marketplace.
Jeez.
So how they're aggregating out information, it comes from different ways, not just mental health applications, but the rewards programs that we sign up to, like Kroger. This is crazy, but Kroger actually makes more money selling data than they do selling food.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
They consider data the new oil. People are aggregating data through the applications we download on our phones,
Yeah.
just like the mental health applications. It could be video games, it could be whatever.
So all of those reward programs, like mine is with Tom Thumb and Albertsons, or back home it was the Jewel grocery store or whatever. They take my information, my buying habits, as well as, and so these so-called rewards programs are a way for them to make money off of our information.
100%. It is literally a whole ecosystem that operates quasi legally with your quasi consent.
Mhm.
And where they get it is from the terms and conditions and the privacy
Right.
policies that you would daggone need a lawyer to decipher and read through the jargon to understand exactly what it is that you're giving and aren't giving to these individuals.
Wow.
So that's how a lot of the app developers and a lot of these sites work, and beyond just the mental health apps, and we will get on that more specifically. But they have the people search sites, and they have data brokerage sites, and these different platforms, if you will, simply buy aggregated data. They refine that data, and then they profit, usually selling that data to advertisers and marketers and to whoever is in corporate America trying to sell you the new next best thing, right?
Yeah.
And you probably don't even need. So now to dive into the mental health thing, and it's tough. I think being in the Black community, especially, we go through so much, and we've been through so much. I think the stats was 1 out of every 5 U.S. Adult American has a mental health disorder,
Mhm.
and I think that's a lot higher than we get. I could tell you for sure right now, based on I was in the military for a while, and I'm raised from Baltimore, Maryland. I could tell you I have at least a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I can almost guarantee that it's probably more than just
Yeah, that's undiagnosed. There's probably a lot of people that have undiagnosis. This is just the people who are diagnosed and who have adequate health care that can actually go to a doctor and get treated and things like that. So the numbers are definitely the ones that are diagnosed, but there are so many people that are undiagnosed for sure.
100%, right? And then when you add technology to it. Everybody has a cell phone. You know, everybody
Mhm.
has uh, means for these organizations to aggregate thousands of data points. There's an organization named Axiom. I'm shouting y'all out, Axiom.
Mhm.
That aggregates between 3,000 to 5,000 data points on each and every one of us. I can't tell you 3,000 things about myself,
But they got it.
but they
Right.
have it. Well, they used to have it. They don't have it
Okay.
anymore, luckily,
Okay.
because I know what I'm
Wow.
doing. But absolutely, guys. So yeah, these mental health organizations are, usually when anything's free, it's because you're the product,
Mhm.
and
Mm. That's so scary though. Like that's scary.
it
You
is.
know?
I don't want to shoot everybody in the foot here, right? I don't want to, scare everybody in the world. I genuinely believe that these organizations and these individuals behind these companies do have positive intentions.
Mhm.
I don't think they know how much trouble they can get an individual in by selling this information to their sharers or to their
Yeah.
Don't they
partners.
really? Don't they know? Hasn't somebody come to them and said, um, "Okay, here's the good. We're going to give you money for this information, but here's the bad. People aren't really going to
Scared sales?
understand
No,
it."
absolutely not. They're saying, "Hey, we're helping economy. We're putting awesome products in front of people's faces." I mean, these people have mental health disorders. We're
Mm.
going to be selling this to pharmaceutical companies. We're
Mm.
going to be selling this to,
So
whatever.
they see a dollar sign. They don't see, and I wouldn't say they don't see, but because I think a lot of applications are doing it. And so with mental health applications and their privacy settings being off and poor, that's where it's like concerning because you would think like your regular health going to the doctor, there's HIPAA laws and things like that. You don't necessarily think about your privacy being, this,
Curtailed
yeah. So
a
that,
product.
yeah.
So
So what
how
do
do
you
we
have?
avoid this, Arnez?
Mhm.
How do we, take advantage of these free opportunities for mental health and wellness care,
Mhm.
and without giving up so much of ourselves and giving all this information to these companies?
That's a really tough question. I was thinking about the most appropriate answer for this. Um, you
Give up,
know,
give up social media.
I it's so
Throw the phone
unfortunate.
away.
So I honestly listen. I'm on Facebook. I use LinkedIn. I'm a business professional. I have to use these platforms. So you have to threat model is what I'm telling the executives and the.
What does that mean?
So long story short, you have to decide what value you're gaining from an application, from a company, from a
Mhm.
service, and decide, is this actually benefiting me enough than what the risk may be?
Mhm.
So what it is you're trusting this organization with the most intimate parts of yourself,
Right.
and this company can go get breached.
Yeah, that was another question I had about that.
These
Yeah.
companies oftentimes get breached because with the data that they have, whether it might be uh first name, last name, home address, card number, but then they have
Mhm.
hundreds of data points about your mental health. That's valuable data that
Mm.
a multi-billion dollar, hundreds of billions of dollars organization, I'm sorry, industry wants to use and have.
They want it like, ooh, ooh, ooh,
We
ooh,
want to know. We want that data so we can build products around.
ooh.
And this is the toughest thing about it.
Around depressed folks. So if you are suffering from depression or you're experiencing something, they want to build products around that, and they're gonna now start advertising
Mhm.
for what my well-being or for my demise. That's what
Mm.
gets me, you
Wow.
and,
know,
and
because it
ultimately,
seems evil. I don't
That's
know. It,
tough.
it just seems evil to me.
yeah. And
That's
again,
tough.
I don't want to, uh, you know, hurt anybody out there. I just really believe that these organizations, a lot of them, they don't know how bad it really is. And if they were truly informed and they actually looked into it, I think they would come up with a different business model. And I think that business model might be to just simply charge for your product and reduce the amount of data that you collect. Aprylete brought up HIPAA laws. Uh,
Mhm.
HIPAA, the uh, health information portability and accountability laws that's was generated back in 1996. We were barely on the internet those days.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? everybody wasn't walking around with an actual cell phone back then, though some people probably did have some. So it's just, the data ecosystem has became it's became the new oil. It's became a secret for profit, it's almost goody boy club
Mm.
that these different organizations are profiting from, and they don't want you to know they're lobbying our they're lobbying currently, and we're fighting this big time, and we lose every time
Who's
because they're
fighting against this?
so I currently am a founding account executive here at Privacy B. We are a data deletion organization for consumers and for businesses. There's
Mhm.
a few other types of organizations that exist. Some of them do a lot of good work. Some of them don't do such a good work. Obviously, you'd have to do your due diligence.
Sure.
So what we do is we send out data deletion requests and mapped out the whole economy of the companies that aggregate data, refine data, and then sell that data. And then with a simple click of a button, you can actually send a data deletion request, and we'll also automatically delete your information from over 350 data brokers. So you have, again, the aggregators, you have the refiners, and you have the brokers, and usually those brokers then sell it to
Mhm.
marketers, advertisers from various different industries.
Right.
So when
So
we can help reduce how your information is aggregated, which is don't sign up for rewards programs unless you
right,
absolutely need it, right?
right.
Um, Clean up the information that exists in the data broker.
Sometimes finding that lean cuisine under $2.50 really helps at the end of the month. I'm
Yes,
just
it
saying.
does.
I'm just saying.
Right, and so that
I
company
need
gets
my
breached,
reward.
and you get your identity stolen for thousands of dollars,
Oh,
right? And that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So that's why companies like the one that I
How do
currently
people
work
get
at.
in touch with you? How do people, if they want to have this information destroyed or erased from these companies, how do people get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So let me also say this before I answer that. You
Okay.
can go directly to these organizations and opt out. You don't have to pay. So just like you can represent yourself at court,
Hmm.
probably not very recommended, right?
Right.
You
Right.
don't seek
Yeah.
legalese. It's kind of the same thing with data brokerage and data deletion. So absolutely, you can go to these companies directly and delete yourself, or you can come to a company like Privacy B. Go to privacyb.com or email me. I don't mind talking directly to you, arnez@privacyb.com. And
Privacy BEE.
BEE, like the one that makes honey, yes.
Okay. Okay. Can we? Is this akin to when we go onto a website and they say about the cookies? And
That's okay. So
can
that's a
just
really good question. So cookies is not the tasty ones, of course. We're talking about the digital cookie that pretty much follows you across the internet and allows it's for a technical reason, cookies, but ultimately it becomes a means of tracking.
hmm
So obviously you don't want to have to give all these organizations uh, access to your devices through cookies.
right
so
So
really quick, can you say no? Because it seems like every website you go to, you always
now,
not
yeah.
always have to accept, but it's like if you don't accept, then can I not go to the website?
right, so usually they have the necessary cookies that actually are required to run the page, and then
Hmm.
you have
Mm.
the non-necessity cookies that are
Mm-hmm,
used
mm-hmm.
100% to track you, gain data, collect
Yep.
that information,
And that's
and
how they
and,
get you.
and
And
monetize
they
that
named it
information.
cookies because everybody loves cookies.
So,
That's
and
exactly
we
why they
offer a
named
browser extension that you can download if you use Google Chrome or Firefox, and we'll actually block all third-party scripts that load.
it.
So,
Mm.
actually, if I got a couple of moments, I will jump into that. Actually,
Sure.
anytime you see ads on a website that you go to, let's say you go to CNN.com or whatever you may go to, and then you see an ad for BetterHelp or Shine on your website, it's because what is actually happening in the background is an industry known as real time bidding.
Hmm.
Real time bidding
Mm.
in real time. These organizations, it's a process known as syncing, syncing, and the technical hardware data and then the person data that connects to each device. Each human right now, we are using on average 3 devices: a cell phone and 2 laptops, or a cell phone and a laptop and a tablet, right?
Hmm.
So these advertisers are literally tracking us cross device, and they know who is visiting what website at how long, what buttons you click on, how long you viewing that video, how long you looked at that picture, how long you read that article for, uh, and it's absolutely atrocious. And if you really want to dive into this, there's tons of resources that I can provide you, after the show, and we can do another episode and maybe dive a little deeper into it, because it's really deep, and it's not a 20 or 30-minute long conversation. But long story short, if you want to start protecting your privacy, if you don't need social media or whatever you can do, honestly, get off of it. If you want to protect your privacy,
Get
genuinely,
off of it.
if you want to use it, of course, you just want to maximize your privacy settings. If you're using
Right. So so we can do it on our phone to a certain extent.
to a certain extent, but ultimately, again, Facebook is a free platform because they don't sell data; they buy it sometimes,
Right.
but they aggregate data in the first party data that you give them.
Yeah.
And what they do is they sell access to you to marketers and advertisers. So that's what's actually going on. But with that being said, there's still thousands of. There's about 4,000 data brokers.
Wow.
I have one question.
Yes.
And they're all filthy rich. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine, because they definitely are. So my quick question is, if we started to really hone down and tackle and beat this over the head, right?
Mhm.
Are we now going to have to start paying? And this could be silly, paying to get on the internet, because will they start charging us for that service, since if privacy is and they start making laws and things like that, and now people can't sell and do all of those things that you just named. If we stop that with laws, now will we have to pay to get on google.com or the web browser?
Such a wise question. That is an argument that is actually going on currently. And the answer to it, according to my intuition, I feel like is yeah.
Wow.
They're profiting, and they're building apps, literally building whole websites, building media platforms, such and so forth,
off of selling data
for free,
Right.
so they can collect and
Money.
harvest your data,
Yeah.
and then you become the product.
Yeah.
So that is literally what. And when I tell you it's a $250 billion a year industry, that is not a small number. That is huge. It is considered the new oil. So yes, everybody is for sale. And if you don't have some kind of proactive measure in place, like a privacy bee, and have a browser extension in place and utilize a VPN, of course, there's no such thing as perfect privacy, unfortunately, in 2023. Not yet. We're still working, right? But
So here you have Aprylete. She's your sister, and she wants your help in terms of providing a secure wall around her information regarding her mental health questions and maybe appointments and things like that. What's the best step-by-step process you could advise her?
Get off the app. Go to actual therapy. And that wasn't probably the answer you were probably expecting.
No, I wasn't. But yeah.
But these companies don't care. They don't. They really don't care. And it is brute honesty, and it's tough to even say. We all need help right now, and I wouldn't use those apps. As somebody who works with 3-letter organizations and Fortune 500 companies, I would not use those.
Wow.
I think it's really interesting.
Information.
I think it's interesting that you talk about the fact that April is asking about perhaps paying for these services. Back in the day, we didn't think that we'd ever be paying for television, that we'd be paying for radio, that we'd be paying for all of these things. We'd be paying for water, hell. But all of these things that we're willing to pay a price for now. But as far as websites and applications are concerned, we're paying for some of the apps. And things like that. So everything, your privacy comes at a cost.
Yeah,
100%. You are the product. If it's free, it's because you're the product, and that's just what it is.
That's the thing.
If
it's free, you're the product. Wow,
100%.
That's a good nugget.
We have a comment. Wow, you need to come back. Very good information. Yes, Janet Ferguson has extended the invitation, so please. Tyrone Bourne on Facebook says, "Thank you to Arnez. This is a lot to try to soak up. I appreciate your explaining this, and I do too. And good get there, Aprilette. If you would be willing to come back and talk about this,
Sure, anytime.
and to keep people up to date on, as things are happening. Once again, Arnez, please give your company and the website.
Yes. So anyone can go to www.privacybee, like the one that makes honey.com. If you want to talk to me directly, that's fine. You can also email me at arnez@privacybee.com.
Mm-hmm.
ARNEZ, like the one on your screen there. And absolutely, just call in. We have a concierge where you can ask any privacy questions you want. Um, I have a lot of stuff that I would like to talk to when we get more time about, specifically uh, our community and how that is being used against us. Before I get off here, it's being used against us to redline us when it comes to
Mm.
finances. It's being used
Mhm.
against the LGBTQ community. It's being Roe v. Wade when they passed that. You know, you brought up the period tracker. Data, our personal data, is our digital double.
Yeah.
It's and in the digital world nowadays is almost just is impacting our physical reality for
Yeah.
sure. So
Mm.
we have to protect our digital double. We have to protect our digital persona, and Privacy Bee's helping with that. Of course, I'm helping with that. But we just have to make sure we're not making it easy for the guys and just giving them information. Right now,
Yeah.
we have a lot of data debt, is what I like to call it, out there.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and unsubscribe and opt out from a lot of the data brokers that
Mhm.
exist. If you need some information on that, I wouldn't mind giving it. Just give me an email and I'll reach out, and or just go to privacybee.com and we'll help you out.
Dora Levette Tiggs on Facebook said you should be a regular on Thursdays. This is great stuff. So thank you once again. They're booking you already.
All right. I'm like, are they bumping me off? Dora, you don't like me?
Hit up Aprylette. She know where to find me. You know where to find me now. Yeah.
And don't take it personally, Aprilette.
I'm crying.
We just might have to create another day
Aprylette,
for Arnaz
you
to
know
come
all the
on.
great hosts.
We just have to create another day for Arnaz to come on. So we don't want to bump anybody, but we do want to provide
Get
the
all this good
for
information
people.
for sure.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much, Arnez. This is amazing. This is
All
great.
right, guys.
And
Anytime.
tell your daddy we said hey.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. I promise he will be coming back. I promise, and you won't let us forget him. Obviously, Aprilette. So thank you very much. Let's talk about trending topics. This was the hottest. Yesterday was the hottest day ever again on the planet Earth.
Yes.
For the third day in a row, records were broken, and the average temperature on Earth remained at a record high after 2 days in which the planet reached unofficial records. It's the latest in a series of climate change driven extremes. And the average global temperature now is at 62.9 degrees. Let's call it 63. And the reason for that obviously is half the world is of the planet is on summer and the other half is on winter, and bringing those two together, not as cold and hotter than normal, and so you're about 63 degrees there, according to the University of Miami's climate reanalyzer.
You got it.
Yeah, thanks. That matched a record set Tuesday, which is at 62.6. And last month, the world's hottest June since records have been kept. We've been talking about this all week, and I know people are like, okay, we know it's damn hot, we know. But I think that we have to be mindful of just how hot it's getting
Yeah.
every day. If
And
we were
what that
saying,
means,
yeah, right, and what the whole climate change means, how we can avoid if we can, and if it's not too late to do what we can in
Yeah.
terms of putting things into the atmosphere, which brings about this climate change.
Yep.
It's the, and if we're not going to do it for us, then do it for the next generations, because
Mhm.
otherwise they're just going to burn themselves up.
No, absolutely. And I think that that's already been proven.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand people who go to Death Valley to hike in the middle of summer, and people are surprised. Oh, he died. Well, it's
You first of all, you in Death
175
Valley.
billion degrees out there. What was this genius thinking?
Yeah.
A 60-something-year-old man decides to take a hike in the desert.
That was his last wish. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
I believe that was his
yeah,
last wish because
yeah,
there's no way.
yeah.
I will say I've had, and I didn't know. Well, I knew it was this hot, right? In Texas is different, but my air or something was off, and I do have like Florida ceiling windows, and I had
Mm-hmm.
the window open to get the natural sunlight. I had to close them blinds and do some stuff because it was so hot
Uh-huh.
in my apartment. It was like literally 77 degrees in here, and my air was on 61.
Mm.
It has been hot this week. So yes, I've been feeling it. Yeah.
So do me a favor. Go down to your leasing office and ask them if other people have talked about,
The
the air
heat.
conditioner, and if maybe it needs to be examined, or as Yolanda likes to say, it needs Freon.
No,
Um, and
something.
yeah,
Something. Because
yeah.
they did come and they switched out the filter and things like that. So I don't know if it's like the bigger unit
Hmm.
for the entire side of this building or something. But no, you're right. I definitely need to say something because it shouldn't be 76, 77 degrees
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And my again, air is on 61. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm
Right.
working overtime. So
Definitely. Yeah. And do something about everybody. Please look out for those people who are out on the streets,
yep,
who are unhoused, as they say,
yeah,
and every time somebody comes to your house, or you're amongst people, if you got some water, let them
yeah,
have it.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
just give it to them. So here's the crazy story, and I have not reported on this, but because I knew something was coming. Last week or week before last, there was a story about four young children that were found in the jungle. Their
Mm,
plane had crashed. They were brothers and sisters
mhm.
from not even a toddler. It was an infant to maybe a teenager, early teenage years. And I thought this story just doesn't sound
Found
right.
in what jungle?
In South America.
Okay, okay.
So they found him, and that it's a miracle, and how they found these children, and a mysterious dog came and stayed with the children. I was really following this. I was really kind of caught up in this because I knew that there's something. I mean, it just screams a movie,
Yeah,
and it
definitely.
just seems too good.
Fantasy fairy tale.
Yeah, yeah. So now here's a story of a teenager who reportedly was 18 years old. His brother died. He was so upset.
Mhm.
He went out one day and he disappeared and never came back. 8 years
Mm.
later, he's found in front of a church. He is, I guess he had fainted, or he was laying on the street and was not responsive. And this mother says, "Oh my God, this is my son. He's been missing for 8 years. Welcome home." And they never said something has happened to him. We don't know what has happened.
Yeah.
Well, we do know that the kid was not missing at all. Never went missing.
Where
He
was he?
left out one day and came back the next day. And 8 years after his mother reported him as a missing, the Houston police announced at a news conference that this boy, who is now 25 years old, reported missing the day after he disappeared while walking his dogs March 6, 2015. According to police, they announced that he returned home following day, March 8th. His mother allegedly kept deceiving police, insisting her son was missing. In the meantime, in the body of the story, they show billboards of this
Mhm.
kid. Have you seen?
Oh,
Have you
no, I
seen?
haven't. No, but I'm following you. So
Oh,
there were
no,
billboards of
no. So that's the question. Have you seen this kid? He's missing,
oh,
and
that's what it said
that's what
about
the that's what the billboards are saying, right? And so I'm like, that is a money grab if ever I heard one.
it.
So what happened was, as the police would do follow-ups and
Mhm.
contact the mother, the names changed, and so then there would be new reports of
Mm.
having seen this kid or whatever. He never left their house. He never left the basement, according to
That's
some
child
reports.
abuse.
And I don't know how much money she got. Maybe there was a GoFundMe.
Or
Maybe
like maybe a website because those
mhm,
websites
right,
missing children and
right,
donations and search parties.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I know this is not what we are affiliated with Black and Missing Foundation, but this is what makes people so suspicious. When you
Mhm.
have there's usually a situation like, oh, this person in my family has cancer, and we are trying to do a fundraiser for them,
Mhm.
and it turns out the person either was never told that they had cancer, or was told in order to go along with the scam.
Mhm.
This was a situation in
Wow.
which this woman,
That's disgusting.
it
Ugh.
it it is just, and I hate to be, suspicious because give people the benefit of the doubt, but not
And
according
outside of
to
the money, it's like, what is the gain? Like, what
right.
what was your MO? What
So
did you want to gain from
and
this?
so, is it an attention grab? Is it a money grab? What is it? Why would you? And we don't even know what this boy's mental
Yes, or child
condition.
abuse, because
Yeah,
if the boy couldn't leave the house for 8 years in the
yeah,
basement.
yeah.
Wow, that's so sick. Ugh.
It is really okay. So here's another one, and has to do with some people are a lot of people are Kanye West fans.
Okay.
This is involving his school. A former official employed by Kanye's school has filed a lawsuit. The former official and teacher um, is saying that the school founded by the rapper, formerly known as Kanye West, he's suing the artist and his Christian academies, alleging poor treatment and the fact that when he spoke up about things that were not right in the school, he was demoted, he
Mm,
lost pay, and then ultimately he was fired.
mm.
He's suing them for for dismal sanitation, electrical problems, and windows and skylights that were left empty. Kanye didn't like windows.
Mm.
So they were just, there were the borders of the window,
But no window?
but no glass, no plastic, no nothing.
I
Just
like a casino, because in the casino there's no windows.
I
You
have no idea.
you you, you don't like the casino?
No, I don't do because I don't know that there are windows with no glass.
Yeah, there's no windows in the casino.
So Kanye apparently, like the casinos, doesn't like glass. Isaiah Meadows, a former assistant principal at the Yeezy Christian Academy, predecessor to the Donda Academy, said he was suspended, later fired after he complained about the conditions at the Southern California schools. Filed in Superior Court in Los Angeles County, adds to a chorus of allegations against Kanye and his pursuit of what the Donda Academy website describes as a mission to provide the youth with the passion, purpose, and spiritual foundations they need to thrive in tomorrow's world. In an earlier lawsuit filed this year by a law firm that logged today's complaint, two former teachers accused Kanye and the Donda Academy of wrongful termination. In that suit, they painted a troubling portrait of a school they said had no janitorial or medical staff, so like no school nurse, nothing,
Mm.
nobody to clean up after the nasty kids, right? Rampant bullying amongst the staff, and perhaps amongst the children as well, and rules that appear to ban the use of forks, the eating utensil, and clothes that were not black or were not
Oh,
designed by
Kanye.
Kanye.
Kanye. Is this allegedly?
No, this is what they are alleging. This is the lawsuit they are filing. They said that it
Wow.
was under very difficult conditions. Forget about the windows. They said you weren't allowed to use forks.
Can't use a fork, can't wear nothing that's not black.
Oh, fork you! Get out of here.
So what they using
And only wear black clothes or only clothes
that's
that
was
were designed by
easy.
Kanye.
Baby. So is still going? Did he win?
Well, they just filed it.
Oh, they just said, okay, I missed that
So
part.
the Forks one that was filed earlier this year I think that was by a mother and daughter who worked at the school.
Okay.
And now this is a gentleman who was the assistant principal or supervisor at the school, and he's saying that it's just bonkers. He doesn't like windows, and
Wow.
I can't
I
imagine.
can honestly believe all of this.
I don't want to, but
I mean, who wants to? But it's just like you can see
he
it.
is just one note short of a full score, and just
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
from our "Oops, she might be in trouble again." There's a report of a dust up. Have you heard this about Britney Spears and the new basketball sensation? So this happened in Las Vegas. Apparently, a dust up between the former pop star Britney Spears and the latest NBA superstar Victor Wembanyama. said that an encounter went down as he was walking into the Catch restaurant in the Aria Hotel in Vegas. The 19-year-old sensation, Wembayama, who was the number one draft pick just a week or two ago by the San Antonio Spurs, and the biggest thing since LeBron James went from high school to the NBA, said there were a lot of people in the hallway near the restaurant calling his name, but he was instructed, do not stop. Because if you do, that's when all chaos will break out. And create a scene. So one woman kept asking for him, and she ran up to him, according to reports, put her arms around him. And he later learned that woman was Britney Spears, who already is in some sort of situation mentally. He said, I didn't see what happened because I was walking straight and we were told, don't stop. But that person grabbed me from behind, not on my shoulder. She grabbed me from behind. And so I just know that the security pushed her away. That's where the story gets a little interesting. He said the security pushed her away. He didn't stop to look, and so he could walk in and just get to dinner. He said he didn't know the woman was Spears until a couple hours later because he never saw her face. An eyewitness says that he saw Britney approach Wambayana's entourage, clearly wanting to take a picture with him. He said she infiltrated her way into his circle, leaned in, and in a British accent said, excuse me, sir, and then she touched his back. And that's when he said the head of Wambayana's security backhanded her right in the face. Ooh. So one person said that he did like this. Her hand went into her face. So it was like he went to stop her, and
then the hand went in the face,
and her hand went into her face. The security guy, one enforcement person said the security guy hit her hand then hit her own face. But the witness says no, the security guy struck her. He said that Victor walked into the restaurant. The British accented Britney screamed, "This is effing America!" And then police were called.
Goodness gracious! No, well, I'm gonna say that little boy don't know who Britney Spears is.
She's before his time.
Before his time, she definitely looks.
And he's from France. I mean, he may, his mom may have grown up knowing.
But not like the look of her gives average, I'm sorry, white woman.
Yeah,
so he's
middle-aged white woman.
Yes, he didn't know that. And then with the British accent, baby, he didn't know that was Britney Spears.
He truly did. That was crazy. It was a day full of craziness and a lot of stories. But let's end with it's not a great story to end on. It's this entertainment story, but a lot of people, especially in our community, this is a great deal of conversation within my group about a will and the necessity for a will. And especially, and you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of goods and things in your house. But when you leave, don't leave it in such chaos.
No, it's just like delegate what's going on and let people know the lay of the land. That's
right.
it.
But put it down on paper.
Yep.
And make sure that it's legal. And if you can, make it into just one document.
One document.
Because Aretha Franklin's sons are still arguing over her will. The Queen of Soul died in 2018, and she did not have a formal, official, typed will in place. As a matter of fact, there are several pieces of paper that were found around her house that some regarded as her will. 5 years later, her final wishes are still unresolved, and her niece, Sabrina Owens, agreed to be the executor. And without a will, her 4 sons would have to share her assets, including real estate, don't forget those gowns, her furs, and many other future royalties of her music. 2 handwritten wills were discovered in her suburban Detroit home, and Michigan law states that other documents, including those with scribbles and scratch outs and hard to read passages, can also be used to determine her final wishes. 2 of the wills from 2010 were found in a locked cabinet in her house after a key to the dresser was finally discovered. And sadly, on Monday, the sons go to court. A trial is set to start with the aim of settling which of the 2 handwritten wills, one found in a couch cushion, will determine how her estate is to be handled. She had 4 sons, as I mentioned. The battle over her will is pitting son against sons.
I think I'm frozen.
Ted, yeah, you are, but we can still hear you. Ted White, known professionally as Teddy Richards, maintains that the papers dated 2010 should be the guide for his mother's while Keycap Franklin and Edward Franklin support a 2014 document. This is, you know, this is a sad situation, and you don't want to see. But there's so many stories about Aretha Franklin and the handling of her money and all of that. That it's not a surprise that that folks
Mm.
are like this, but really, I don't care what you got. Write it down and tell people,
You need
who
a
gets what.
will.
I keep telling Yolanda, she's gonna get, something. But I haven't let her see the will yet. So
You ain't let us see it
no, 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 because I could come up missing and
yet. Have you seen her? Have you seen her?
right. And
I'll
then it
make
was
the
like,
billboards at this
yeah,
point.
let's donate some money so we can continue the search for Sybil. Yeah. No, not at all. You all, thanks for joining us today, Aprylete. It's great to see you. I hope that you and your little Gucci dog have
Yes,
a good
he
weekend.
wants he wants to make an appearance because he always gets testy around the end of the show.
Oh yeah.
He got a nice little haircut. Don't it look good? Say hi,
You know what?
Gucci.
You're still frozen, so we can't see.
Oh,
I know.
dang.
Gucci should have come around at the beginning of the show. And maybe we'll just no, that didn't do it. It did knock you unstuck. We'll end with the jewel, Yogi's jewel. It is better to deserve without receiving than to receive without deserving. Woo! Ooh, wow, that's a Gen Xer. Okay, so thank you all so very much, Aprylite. Great job, and thank you for the introduction to Arnez, and we'll have him back again. I promise you, who have already booked him. We
Yes.
appreciate it. We'll see you all again soon. Aloha.
See ya.